What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Sorry, we lost Scott.
We're coming together, hear the call, you are invited. We come from the same source, a powerful love force.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Awakening World. I'm Love Coach Scott Katamas, and we've got a great weekend planned. We are going to meet some of our favorite musical artists and some of the amazing presenters that are all part of a fabulous festival, Relaxpansion Fest in Ashland, Oregon. I started doing these shows 2.5 years ago, right around the time of the pandemic, because we were all sheltered and we've all been having to stay home, and all the festivals got canceled and all the conferences and conventions, even clubs, bars, restaurants, all shutting down. But now we are at a time in which things are opening up and we are able to start gathering together in person. And one of the most wonderful festivals that's going to be taking place is Relaxpansion. And we're going to learn all about it throughout the weekend. This entire weekend is dedicated to the Relaxpansion Festival. But before I introduce you to Lory and we talk about that, I want to welcome everyone who's watching. First of all, those of you in our Zoom room, and I see a lot of our regular friends, let us know where you're from geographically. It's always fun to see all the different places you're from. And likewise, for everybody watching on YouTube and Facebook, let us know where you're coming from geographically. I especially want to thank John and Summer Raymer for putting us out over the Sign Network. We reach sometimes as many as 100 different Facebook groups and pages that way. And I also want to welcome all of our friends watching on Unify. And Unify is especially fun because we have people from all over the world watching. Also, I want to thank or acknowledge those of you who are watching this recording, because we find that thousands of people end up watching the recording. So whether you're with us live in the Zoom room, live on Facebook, or watching the recording, welcome. All right, so Relaxpansion is the brainchild of Lory Barde. And Lory is a beloved promoter, producer. He has done so much for this world, for our industry. And his whole thing is keeping the music alive. And he is, he has this incredible gift for producing music for dance, for healing. He's owned his own record store. He's put on hundreds of concerts, over 300 concerts that he's produced. And now he's bringing it all back together with some of his favorite people for Relaxpansion. So welcome, Lory. I'm really looking forward to this weekend with you. And tell us briefly a little bit about Relaxpansion.
Well, I'm happy to. And I'm really grateful to be here with you, Scott. We're going to just rock this weekend, tonight, tomorrow night, and Sunday morning, with a varied group of awesome artists and presenters and luminaries. So Relaxpansion, I feel grateful that I was able to invent something in this life, and that is a hybrid word called Relaxpansion. It's just what it sounds like. And it's a reference point. It's a place to return to. It's a place to remember to drop all the way to your belly and breathe, and maybe lift your head slightly and go, ah, yes, that's Relaxpansion. And so now it's turning into a major festival from a confluence of visions that bring together amazing musical artists, speakers with a lot to share, and presenters more like workshop mode, and a artisan vendor village, and a visionary art gallery. And it's a potpourri. It's a many ring circus. And it goes from Friday evening, June 24th, till Sunday evening, June 26th. We have after hours at Relaxpansion with DJs in one room, amazing DJs. And then we have fireside acoustic music. And there's also the very renowned Hot Springs Pool at Jackson Well Springs, which, as far as I know, is the only place I would even consider bringing a festival of any size or stature. So that's your first background. And Scott and I have invited, it was a hard list to pick from, but some of my close friends. And, you know, my motto, my norm in all these concerts I've done is only work with friends. So how fortunate am I? I have friends like this that can share what's meaningful and passionate for them. And this musical lineup, I honestly look at it and go, how did this happen? It's spectacular. We have at least 5 headliners, depending who you think is a headliner. And one of our prominent prime headliners is Donna Lory, who I've worked with annually, if not more than once a year, since about 2004. So totally blessed. I don't know, are you ready for Donna? Because I'll be back, but she's right here.
We are ready for Donna, although Donna's muted. So Donna, we do need you to unmute. And Donna, tell us just a little bit about your love and appreciation for Lloyd and Relaxpansion. And then, of course, we'd love to hear one of your musical numbers.
Well, Lloyd and I go way back. He first came to one of my concerts. He can a later date tell a story. It was a very small little event. I believe it was at a yoga studio. And he just became such a huge supporter of mine. And whenever I would finish new music, I would give it to Lloyd. And his, his input and his perspective on the music is just so valuable to me. So he's always like one of the first people I'll send something to. And we've been doing concerts for years, and we've been friends. And I love, Ashland has a really special place in my heart because I love water and soaking in hot springs. And bathe in these waters and wash your tears away and your fears and everything. It's just it's such a great healing place. So I feel like I'm going there to be healed and to relax and everything. And I also, icing on the cake, I get to play. So this year especially, I don't know, it's just felt really like relaxed and chill. And I think Lloyd just knows the right people to get together, and it's all going to flow. That's not my dog for once.
No, that was mine.
I have my dogs like locked up in the house. They're probably like on the couch right now, like, ooh, she's gone. So I have a couple pieces I want to do for you guys. One, would you want to hear like a new remix I'm working on? The track is going to be coming from my studio setup over there, and I'll just play along. But the really important thing is, speaking of healing and earth and the nurturing aspects and the nourishing of the Divine Mother. And my favorite mantra is Jai Ma. And this remix, I told the remixer, just give me the beat, take all the vocals out. I just want to say Jai Ma over and over again. Jai Ma. So I thought we could kind of start with that, and hopefully you can hear the beat, and then I'm going to be playing the harmonium here and singing Jai Ma with you. If you guys up for singing some Jai Ma's?
That sounds perfect. Okay. Sounds like a perfect
you can practice a second while I go and start the track.
Okay.
I'll be back in 5 seconds. Jai Ma.
You know what? While we're waiting, I just want to acknowledge for anybody who doesn't know Donna Lory, she's been on my show a few times. She is a singer-songwriter, multi-instrumentalist. She has done 15 solo albums. She's very beloved, and she combines a wide range of musical styles, ranging from what might be thought as new age or yoga music to pop rock. She toured for years with Madonna, and she's amazing. She's also an incredible dancer, by the way. So we're really honored to have Donna with us, and good call to have her on this first show. Lloyd.
Oh, yeah.
There she is. I think she's ready.
I'm drinking my dandelion root tea,
Nice.
looking at a beautiful sunset. Here's the Chima. Little sneak peek to a new remix. Chima. It's a slow dance song. We could dance with our hands, right? Carry me home. Carry me home with you. Jamie Sieber on cello. Chima. Help us to believe, Mother. Help us to be set free. I came here to love you, to hold you with these arms. And I came here to live with you, to be you with these arms. J Ma, J Ma. A lot of vocals in this mix. To you, with you. J Ma, J Ma, Terra, J Ma, J Ma, Mata. J Ma, J Ma, Ma, returning to the arms of the mother. Return me mother, return me to the arms of the mother. I came here to love you. I came here to love you. I came here to love you. Return me to your arms, mine. So we end where we began. Jai Ma. Oh Ma. Jai Ma. Jai Ma. Jai Ma. Mata. Use me. Use me with the arms of the mother. Heal me. Heal me with the arms of the mother. Yeah. Jai Ma. Jai Ma. I came here to love you.
That was just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, Donna.
Yeah.
Oh my God, thank you so much. We're getting all sorts of comments from everybody everywhere, of course. On Unify, we've got people watching from Nigeria, India, Bolivia, and all over North America. So you just reached people all over the world. And Lloyd, anything you want to share in terms of just
Hmm.
how Donna's music touches you?
All the way. I can say my pants are dry, but my eyes are very wet.
You know, for anybody who wants more, Donna DeLory has a very beautiful website. And the song we just heard, her Moss song, which, God, is just play it over and over. It's like the perfect way to just connect into Mother Earth. And if you go to her website, it's her name, donnadelory.com. It's right there at the very top. And she also has a brand new album, Gone Beyond. And, you know, she's done 15 albums, and they really vary. Tell us a little bit about Gone Beyond. What's kind of the nature and the theme of Gone Beyond for you, Donna?
One of the mantras, when I learned the mantra and looked up the translation, one of the mantras on the album is Om Gate Gate Parasam Gate Bodhi Soha. And the translation I loved was gone beyond to a further shore. And I always loved, Joseph Campbell used to talk about the boat that would take you to the island, you know, the other shore, and to the island of enlightenment, right? So I felt like music was that boat that takes you there, the raft, the boat. And I loved that. The imagery of that always stayed with me, and loved the mantra, and that's on that album, and I just love that. That's what music does. It just takes me to this other place. And I can genuinely say that when I'm playing music, it's just instant. I don't know about you guys. Like, you put on music or you go see live music, singer you love, or your soul is just uplifted. No matter if you're having a bad day, you don't feel good, no matter what you're going through, any kind of challenge. It's such a beautiful tool. And so every day I'm more and more grateful that I can be here to make this music and to share it. So it's my great pleasure to be here with you.
Donna, it's a blessing for us. And people can listen to it by getting your albums from donnadolory.com, and they can see you live by coming to Relaxpansion.
Yes, and all the, there's even an album that I'm on, a compilation of Lloyd's, and it's all on Spotify and Apple Music, and we have our music distributed everywhere. And hopefully there'll be a Relaxpansion live album one day. Wouldn't that be great?
That's an idea.
Because there's going to be so much, I know there's going to be so much collaborating going on.
Yes.
And that's another thing, like, to see all of these artists that support one another and want to give and help paint colors onto each other's music, it's beautiful. So I hope, like, Elijah's going to sit in with me.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
And vice versa.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
the interplay is spectacular. And one of the things, I don't know if I invented it, but I never heard of it before, is I create a house band. And the house band are some of the best musicians on the whole circuit. Jared May, he's the bass player for Tina Malia and Simrit and many, many others. And Al Torrey, he's just the legendary guitarist in this whole valley. And Josh Jaffe plays many things, and Ananda plays every stringed instrument known to man, and this great drummer from Marin named Peter Warren. So I create the house band, and they're available to any artist that wants to use them. So when Donna flies up from Southern Cal, from Topanga Canyon, she doesn't have to bring her musicians, who are spectacular and expensive, and pay for them, because I pay for the house band. So they're my gift to the artists. And they can go, yeah, I'll take Jared, I'll take Al, and Donna gets to do a rehearsal Friday morning. And it keeps it a little loose and very live.
And it just helps with the flow, the turnover of artists,
Yeah.
and everything. It's really nice.
Yeah, changing the set instead of 7 people off stage and 8 people back on stage and tune the instruments. The house band's already set up. So these kind of things are a little bit from years of experience and a little bit of tuning in to how to make this flow. This year I have a new idea that I like, which is I'm going to go around to each artist and say, who would you like to introduce? So I'll be up there making announcements, and then I'll say, and now here's Josh Jaffe. And he's going to introduce Donna or Elijah or Om or whatever. So it adds something, again, that I've never seen anywhere else. And it brings everybody closer, because one of our norms, one of our purposes is to dissolve the distance between the stage and the audience. And when I see Donna dancing out in front of the stage, I know we've been successful.
Yeah, I can't wait to dance, and it gets to a really beautiful, ecstatic place, and it's so joyful, and I'm really excited. Yay!
Mm.
Donna, we've got a couple of other guests that Lloyd's going to introduce. Would you mind sticking around for a little bit and maybe doing one more song for us after we meet the other guests for tonight's show?
Yeah, I'd love to. I'll be here.
Cool.
I'm gonna
God
mute
bless you,
myself.
Donna. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Lloyd, you've got 2 of your favorite presenters and friends with us tonight. Please introduce one at a
Right.
time. Give each of them a chance to chat a little bit.
Okay, well, we're going to start with Anna Holub, who was one of the first people I met in Ashland, not even 4 years ago, but it feels like a lifetime of being home. And Anna is a welcoming presence and a bright light. And she has an area of specific work that serves everybody. And it's about forgiveness. And she shares about that in a number of different ways. And interestingly, I have not been in her class or her retreats, but I think on some level, I've kind of gotten it. So I'm as excited to hear what you have to share, Anna, as everyone else probably is. So I'm going to turn it over to you. And please
Right.
say hi.
Great. Hello, everybody. It's really lovely to be here. And, as I was sitting here, I thought of so many things. First off, that I've been to Relaxpansion and other things that Lloyd has put on. And I really want to tell people from an audience perspective, because I've been in the audience and danced my little butt off and had such a good time. And we really need that now after 2 years of COVID. I am so excited, to be able to dance right in front of Donna rocking out and the other fantastic musicians. And I will say that, Lord, you do such a good job of making community so that as an audience member, I don't feel like, oh, those people up there, they're so far away. I just feel like, oh, we're all in the room, we're all rocking it, we're all loving, we're all praying for peace together. And so I just wanted to thank you for that. And I'll tell you a little bit about what I'm going to do at Relaxpansion, which is a forgiveness circle. My area of passion is about forgiveness, not in the traditional model, but in a more expanded way. And I have written about it. I've done a lot of it myself. I continue to do so. And really, this is about a way of life where we become willing to lay down our burdens, lay down our suffering and our fear and our resentments toward each other so that we can feel light and joy and service and creativity, and so that we can love each other. So that's what I feel like we know we need that. But then the thing is, well, how do we do it? And there are a lot of ways to do that. And my way that I have been shown and given comes partially from working with a man called Colin Tipping. He did a wonderful piece of work called Radical Forgiveness. And I worked with him, studied with him, and also some of it comes from A Course in Miracles. Some of it comes from my life experience as a peace educator. Just throw it all in the pot and add a lot of sincere prayer, non-denominational prayer, and silence. And we get this incredible setting for us to clear out, be simple and present together, and offer our sadness and our fears to the one that gives us life. And then we get to receive. So we receive blessings, we receive creativity, and we receive peace. And that's what we're going to do at Relaxpansion. We're going to do relax, expand. We're going to relaxpan together. And that's going to be absolutely beautiful. And the thing that I'm going to add this time, which came to me recently, is a prayer for our ancestors. I feel like we really need to reconnect. A lot of us don't come from a tribal culture where that's just normal. So we need to learn how to connect to the amazing beings that hold space for us. And the more we do that, the more we offer something to our children. So we're going to do forgiveness in a way that is going to be expanded and ecstatic, offering our sorrows together, but also receiving blessings and tuning into our ancestors. And we're going to do that at Jackson Wellsprings during the Relaxpansion Festival. And I'm very excited about that.
Anna, I love what you just said, especially about the ancestors. So two things I want to put out to our audience. If you have questions for any of our presenters tonight, put them out there. I'm sure people might have questions about forgiveness. And I just wanted to kind of riff for a moment because as a coach, I make my living as a coach. So many people sometimes say, oh my God, I've got this long ancestry of alcoholism or domestic violence, whatever it is that came from the genetic line. And I always like to remind them that we are blessed. We have tremendous freedom and independence. because of the sacrifices of our ancestors. And most of our ancestors were in survival their entire lives. They didn't have the time or the resources to deal with some of those things like alcoholism or whatever we maybe bring into our epigenetics. And so I believe that with the freedom and independence that they have created for us, it's our job to pay it forward and to give thanks to our ancestors by working on those issues. So I'm just curious how that relates maybe to your thoughts about ancestry.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. I feel that when I was growing up, I didn't have a sense of my ancestors. I mean, I had an idea about it, but it was more in my head. It wasn't in my heart. It wasn't in my gut. It wasn't in my feet to the earth. And there was one time in which I realized that no one in my family had gone back to Poland and the Czech Republic to pray and give thanks for, I come from a Jewish background, so the amount of trauma that is in my cells from that, is substantial. And so I realized, I need to go there. I need to be the one in the family to go back and to do some prayers and some gratitude for the ancestors that came from Europe, but the ones who are also in Europe. And that started me on a really deep journey. And they actually showed me that they knew I had gone there. It's a longer story, but wow. And so then I got it from a really deep, like authentic way, that it's not just an idea. It's not a cute idea. It's not an idea for other people. That's why I want to bring it in during Relaxpansion, so that we have a sacred time together. We have a time of letting go, but the letting go is for receiving. So we have more room to receive blessings and grace and gratitude. And then we can also share that with our ancestors, because they're waiting for us to realize, hey, they sacrificed a lot for us. And yes, they made mistakes, and no, they didn't know how to meditate and whatever, but we can be the bridge generation for our children and lighten the load for them energetically. So, and their children and their children. So that's what we're going to do.
That's beautiful. What a joy to meet you. And of course, everybody that I meet through Lloyd rocks. Lloyd, I'm bringing you back on for a moment. Anything you want to share before we move on to your other guest?
Yes, I do. Let's see, am I unmuted? I am. How wonderful. So everyone that's appearing, that's going to be present there, I've had the joy of inviting them personally as I designed the receiving this vision of how to gather together to get there. And there's just so many aspects. I'm not going to go through the list. We have all weekend to delve into what's occurring. But each person, there are about a dozen people that I call the speakers, the New Thought Speakers Forum. There's all the presenters, more active. There's a music lineup that I look at and I go, there's like 5, 6, 7 bona fide headliners. And it's relaxed. It's Relaxpansion. I have to remember that every day when I start feeling more like it's Freak Out Fest. And that's my reminder. And all the different aspects are going to work and flow together. And the setting is one of the main attractions. I would not do a festival anywhere other than Jackson Wellsprings, because it is on native land and the sacred waters flow. That's why it's called Jackson Wellsprings. And so just walking around there with the hills and the beauty and how it's spread out but extremely intimate, every piece of this vision is connected deeply in its core and its roots. And so just when you walk onto the back meadow, the experience has already begun. So just to receive this vision, to place it in a place that I revere, and it's a very moving experience. And the amount of dancing and interacting And one of the best attractions is a woman named Lydia, who many of you have encountered over the years. Lydia's Love and Foods. I've known her for almost 40 years and we raised our kids together. She's coming to be the entire food service that only she could even imagine and pull off. So vegan, organic food, plentiful, and each part of this is curated from a place that I only have tapped into so that I can listen more closely.
Well, since we're hearing all these wonderful things about Relaxpansion, I better tell people how you get tickets.
Yeah.
Go to relaxpansion.com. That's RELAX, relax, Pansion, PANSION, relaxpansion.com. And that's where you can get your tickets for this amazing event. And listen, all you Global Peace Tribers who've been saying, Scott, are you going to do a retreat? And we will do a Global Peace Tribe retreat probably in late summer or fall. But this is it. Come to Relaxpansion and you can meet me. And you can meet Donna, Lory, and Lloyd, and Anna, and a lot of other wonderful friends that are going to be there. So we can finally meet, hug each other. It's going to be really, really special. So, and we'll be talking about Relaxpansion all weekend long. But make sure that you make your plans and come. And Lloyd, you've got one more guest to introduce who's going to be with us tonight. And you're going to meet Norma.
Yes, Norma Burton, a very dear friend, a skilled teacher and facilitator who draws from one of the deepest wells I've ever encountered. When I needed last year to look at my scheduling and rescheduling of Relaxpansion Fest 2021, and I was just on the fence. I wasn't struggling, but I couldn't get my grounding. I called Norma so we could go take a walk together in our beautiful Lithia Park. And the course of action became very, very clear. And where Norma lives and what she brings is this place of clarity that's historic, that merges space and time. And your gift, Norma, is a gift. And the way that you share it and bring it. We had dinner together this last week at the local Indian restaurant. Boy, we covered a lot of ground. And again, without having a question, it answered several. So with great pleasure, I give you Norma Burton. Take it away.
Thanks, Lloyd. Well, I've lived in this valley for quite a long time, about 20 years, and been to a lot of festivals at Jackson Wellsprings. It's such a great spot, like Lloyd's saying, for a gathering like this. But then about, I don't know, 5 years ago or so, Lloyd, you moved here to Ashland. And I was so excited because of all the background you have in doing musical events and festivals, but especially because of the way that you approach doing a festival. You really involve everybody in our community, as well as having this egalitarian approach that makes everybody feel so a part of it from the very beginning. But your presence here has really ignited something very special in this community, and it's a vortex place here. It really is, isn't it? It's a place where you can feel the energy. And so your concept of us settling into our deep selves and tuning in to energy is, it fits perfectly for this place. I was remembering when I was seeking as to whether I should move here or not about 20 years ago. I went up in the mountains here around the town walking, and I looked up and I saw something in the sky that I'd never seen before. I learned later it was called a sundog. Have you ever seen one of those? It's a complete circular rainbow. And wow, that seemed like a very significant sign to me. Well, Lloyd, we talked the other night, and then the next day, when I was thinking about what I'd be speaking about and about this amazing gathering that we're going to have in such a timely way, I looked up in the sky and there was a sundog. And it came right at that time. And I haven't seen one very often, in my life. And it just seemed like a another one of those signs, a very significant sign of blessing, right? A rainbow is always a sign of blessing, but to see that circular rainbow, and it only stays there for a few moments in the sky, so you just feel so blessed to see it. So it feels like we're in a very special time on planet Earth, right? We know that we are, like they say, the ones that we've been waiting for, but we are alchemists. We are alchemists of our personal, collective, and planetary transformation. So I think that we're getting together not just to have lots of good times together, but that it's significant when we come together at this time right now, on the planet. We've got to get together again. We're coming out of this long testing period where we've been rethinking what time and space and consciousness and the illusion of death is all about, right? We're coming to know ourselves as multidimensional, we exist in multi-dimensions. I've had visions of that. Maybe you have too. And I really recommend that you see that movie that just came out, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. It's, about the call that we have on us right now to do our shadow work in all of our lifetimes, maybe, or in all of the dimensions in which we exist, to bring forth this completion into this time and this timeline and this space, because we on planet Earth are on a journey toward some kind of completion. I mean, the Mayan calendar talked about it, right? Now we're a few years past the Mayan calendar, and we're actually in this space between 2012 and 2050. We're kind of right in the middle of it, where they say that we're at the apex of a dark time. But we all know where we're going. We are going to this time of the golden era that all of the different religions have prophesied. But we're going through, the testing gate where we all have to really do our deep shadow work. So that's what my life work is. I came to call it the journey to completion, which is named after the Huichol method. I worked with the Huichol out of Mexico for many years, and my teacher Guadalupe de los Rios said that we're here to, each one of us, to complete an incarnational destiny path. And the way that we do that, she said, is that we take one part of our shadow, our trauma wounds, our ways that we're not complete yet, and we study into it, and we pull it through like a piece of thread going through a weaving, and pull it all the way through to the end and tie it off and complete it. And that's one journey to completion. And then we take another thread and pull that one through, tie that one off, and walk this path of doing our shadow work in a very consistent way like this, so that by the time we get to the end of our life, we have completed our incarnational destiny. So that's what the journey to completion is about for each of our lives. And then we are on a journey to completion on planet Earth. We really are going through a shifting of consciousness of what it means to be human. Don't you feel it? Don't you know it? We really are taking a leap, a jump time, like Jean Houston talks about. So my method of the journey to completion is just one way to kneel and kiss the ground. Like Rumi said, there are 10,000 ways to kneel and kiss the ground, thank heavens. But my journey to completion is a really good way to do your shadow work and to bring these threads through. So at the meeting that we're all going to be having, you might want to, step apart for a little while and dance, and then come apart over into this deep space that we can create, that I will be creating there, maybe in the community room there, where we'll meet in a really deep place and be able to share with one another what journeys that we're on to work on our shadow and to bring it all the way through to the completion that we have to right now. So when I go to festivals like this, those times when I get to go off into a quieter space and meet deeply with people, I cherish those times, don't you? Right? They're a really important part of going to a festival. So I welcome you to come and find me at the festival, and we'll create a very participatory ritual around this kind of completion journey that we're on.
Norma, that's such beautiful work. And thank you for the love and the compassion you bring. Because both the things that I heard that, working on our shadow stuff, we live in a culture that encourages people to hide their shadow, that associates shadow with shame, and so it's in the darkness. And so someone like yourself that can put the light on the shadow with so much love and so much compassion is beautiful. And we are all awakening to our multidimensional self. Every week on the Awakening World, we've got people like Jean Houston, she's been on the show, who are helping us to recognize our multidimensional self in so many different ways. So hats off to the wonderful work you're doing, and I sure will make my way to the community room or whatever little corner you find for that deep conversation.
Thanks, Scott. I look forward to meeting you in person. I've enjoyed your presence so much on these broadcasts, and I really look forward to meeting you and all of you.
Yes.
Meet you in
I
person.
had the pleasure and absolute joy of inviting who I wanted to come present, and the spotlight always on the musicians, but I felt like each aspect, each area is as deep, as beautiful, as inspiring. And when Norma speaks of her journey to completion, which I have not been through, it's like 6 months or longer, right? It's not like on a schedule. And I know my wife, Deborah, who many of you know, she went through this and it was profound. And she ended with a completion ceremony of her journey to completion. And it was super intense for me just to witness and hold space and be part of it. And it's potent work, and it's work literal. It's doing the work. It's finding the cobwebs and sweeping them in and away and lifting and clearing and identifying and returning, the return to innocence, which is a long journey. And I know that your mastery in taking people through this one-on-one is just an amazing gift. And plus, you're a lot of fun in how you do this. And the fun factor is vital. It's serious work. That doesn't mean it's not fun. It's not like, oh my God, I feel like I can relax and expand. Amazing. Imagine that.
I think
We're
what you
going
mean
to
by
share.
fun, Lloyd, too. Oh, sorry, Scott, but
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
fun and the shadow, you don't usually think of those two together. But I think what you mean by the fun is that people really love doing this work with me because it's transpersonal. Like we're not just two humans or a group of humans doing it together. We're linking in with the transpersonal realm where we really meet these spiritual beings that I call it co-author with us. And it's very real that our lives start to amp up because we're in touch with the supernatural dimensions that really ignite our knowing of who we are and our greater creativity. And just one more thing, like, why do we have to go into the shadow? Why don't we just, try to move on to the light? Well, because the shadow holds our power. Anything that we keep out there away from us is holding our power. It's our wounded places, our places where we're separate from ourselves. And so we've got to go in there and get the gift out of the shadow. Anybody that we project our shadow onto out there, that means like people we don't like, things that are anathema to us, hold our power. So we have got to gather our power back and stop projecting it out there, stop leaving it out there, so that we can be very whole beings as we go into the tasks that are ahead of us.
We're going to hear another song from Donna in a moment. But Norman, there are a couple of quick questions that have come in. Well, one will be quick, one might not. These are both from our friends watching on Unify. And Kat Luther asks, what's the movie you talked about, Everything, Everywhere? What's the name of the movie and where do people find it?
Okay, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. it's been on a limited release around the country, so it was here in Ashland just for about a week. I know it's going all over the country at the main cinemas. If you don't see it when it's out in your area, I'm sure it'll be out, on HBO or Netflix sometime soon. But it's a super important movie for our times. It's about a woman who discovers that she has multidimensional selves. And it's a lot about they say it's many movies now are about healing the relationship between the parent and the millennial kid. So it's that kind of movie about that the millennial kid has a lot of judgments about the parent, and the parent's got to really get their act together about the powerful person that they are so that the relationship can be healed between the generations. Yeah, I really hope you can all see it. It's one of those movies like Matrix or the Marvel movies. It's just packed with so much mythology that's really appropriate for our times.
Oh, thank you. And Debbie Johnston, our wonderful co-producer, is putting it in the chat box. And then we have a question from Colleen Gormley, who wants to know what exactly is shadow work and what can I do to create a safe completion ritual?
That, as you said, Scott, that's maybe not a short answer. But,
Well, how about this?
I'll just say I can say a brief thing about it.
Yeah, please do. Please do.
For one thing, look at my website, journeytocompletion.com. And then I have another website, normaburton.com. And that explains it more for the business world. And the journey to completion is a more shamanic explanation of it. But, I'm a Jungian analyst too. So the shadow is something that every human has. And we come onto earth, I say, trailing streams of glory, like the poet Wordsworth said. We come from a place of wholeness, and we come onto earth, and we have traumatic experiences, and that causes us to split. We split into our persona, which is our self we present to the world, and a part of us goes down under into our unconscious, which is our shadow realm. And so say if somebody is sexually abused, for example, they might put on the persona of really trying to be good, be a good girl and please everybody and not cause any trouble. And then going down into their shadow is their voice, their scream, even their knowing of their own body. And so we've got to allow the shadow to arise, the knowing of ourselves to come up, our voice to come, and our persona to deconstruct so that we're not always just pleasing people or showing a good face. And that brings us on through to a new wholeness. But that process has to be done in a safe container. So we often look for a safe container in like a lover relationship, but that's not really the best place to hold it. It really needs to be held by a therapist or a shaman or a spiritual teacher, somebody who can guide you into doing it in a safe way. So I would really recommend that, to do your deep trauma healing, you need to be held properly by a knowledgeable person. So does that give you a little answer about how to do the shadow work? It's a deep healing that we all have to do. Every human has to do this process.
Well, and to learn more, so the website that you were just talking about, we can learn more about Norma's beautiful work, Whole Systems Shadow Integration, and it's at journeytocompletion.com. journeytocompletion.com. And clearly people can learn more about this work there, and then they can contact you about possibly working with you. And you work with people via Zoom?
Yes, I work with people all over the country, all over the world via Zoom, and then I also lead groups, and I go and travel to different places around the country to be with groups of people. So either way, individually or in a group.
Well, thank you so much. You're getting a lot of appreciations coming in from all the different Facebook pages in our Zoom room. So thank you, Norma. And we'll hear from Norma again before the evening's over. It is time to integrate what Norma and Anna and Lloyd have shared, and the best way to integrate is through music. So we're going to go back to our beloved Donna and Lory to hear another song. And Donna, what stands out for you, and what Norma and Anna and Lory have been sharing tonight.
It's just the life's work that we all have to do. And I was flashing on some of my own personal things when she was talking about the shadow and the voice and music is once again so powerful too. And even if it's something that you never are going to end up sharing with anyone, just like poetry or any kind of form of expression, it's so important to get in touch with that voice and hear what that voice has to say. And it's just such I just feel so blessed always to be on this path and to be, I just feel so, when I'm in this space with all of you, I feel so comforted, and I'm sitting here going, I got to move to Ashland. I'm like, oh God, I want these people around me all the time, instead of like, I got to go down to Cafe Gratitude to connect with some people, I got to go.
Oh yeah,
down.
you come stay with us while you're getting settled.
Yeah. And I live in a great area. Topanga's amazing, but it's still, it's Los Angeles. It's a different kind of energy. People are so busy. So anyway, I had an opportunity to really slow down over the last few months. And it's been an amazing journey for me because it was a real challenging kind of time for my health and time to dig deep and to find a lot of courage and faith and hope and regeneration. That word keeps coming up for me now. The regeneration of the soil of our bodies and our souls. And I'd kind of forgotten about this song, and Garish, who's another beautiful chant artist, had asked me to do an event with him. And he's like, will you always, he was teaching his students, his harmonium students, this piece. And then they played for me what he had taught them. And then I was like, well, actually, it goes there and then it comes back down. So it was just sweet to be there with them. And I'd forgotten about the song, and he helped remind me of it. And it's called Blessed Always, and it's on an album called In the Glow. And it's just ultimately how I feel. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us, and let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say, Amen. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us, and let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say, Amen. 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 Ooh, 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 ooh. Blessed always, we are blessed always. For the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say, Amen. Let our joy be so triumphant. Now we rest in God and say, Amen.
Thank you so much, Donna. That was gorgeous. And what a beautiful way to remember to rest as we are celebrating Relaxpansion.
Trust life. Trust the
Yeah.
process, right?
Trust in life, absolutely. You know, I work a lot with people that are dealing with hard stuff, cancer, death, and the people that have faith, any kind of a practice, and I'm not promoting any particular one, but people who have a faith, have a practice, it's so much easier to make it through the hard times. And so it is important for us all to go back to the practices that have worked for us or to find a practice.
And find the ease and the peace, right?
Yeah.
The ease and the peace in ourselves.
Yeah. Oh, that was somebody else. Hey, I want to remind people again, you can get Donna Lory by going to her website, donnadalory.com. It's her name. And there's beautiful albums. She's 15 solo albums. And they're all gorgeous and beautiful. And Lloyd, anything you'd like to share while we've got beautiful Donna with us?
Yeah, just knowing and befriending Donna and being her number one fan. Although I'm tied for number one with several, but it's just such a gift. And, you know, I sit in awe of being able to invite people that I revere and honor to come speak, to come share. And while the music is off the hook and putting the music artists in order, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, boy, I knocked it out of the park this time. Because for Donna's Saturday night at Relaxpansion, well, it starts with Jens Jarvie. He's been on the show. And Larissa Gosla, if you haven't seen her, just wow. And Elijah will join her in this new trio called Honey Wild. And Sasha Rose, one of the most revered artists in Southern Oregon. And Yusufa Sidibe, the holy man of the Korah. It's a life-changing experience. And then Max Ribner, who has played with many people and toured with Medicine for the People for 12 years. And he plays trumpet like nobody I've ever met. And he's a beautiful man. And then comes Donna. And after Donna comes Elijah Ray and the Band of Light. No matter who is at my events, Elijah's always the headliner in my heart and in my world. And so that's just Saturday. And don't stay at the stage the whole time, though, because there are these speakers. We've introduced 2 this evening, and we'll have another speaker on tomorrow night, and 3 presenters doing song circles, poetry dives, and learning how to make sounds like reindeer and ravens. And just the whole design. And I just have to mention the Visionary Art Gallery, because we love visual artists. We have some great ones in this valley, like Lindy Kehoe. And so I woke up another morning and I saw the art gallery, which I didn't plan on. And it went this way and this way. It was 5 sections, but from up in the sky, it looked like a W. I said, wow, I love this. So now we're figuring out how to build it. So you can go in either end. It's 10 feet wide, so it's not crowded. And you'll go by Lindy's beautiful, extraordinary, visionary pieces. And it'll say, visit Lindy at artist booth number 22, etc. And then you can go watch her live paint. Lindy often live paints on stage with Elijah, and other artists will be doing the same thing. So we're mixing and intertwining all the aspects, the speakers, the presenters, the vendors, the artists. Tea Island, we changed the well-known Apple Island to Tea Island, and children's area.
Beautiful.
It's all that and more.
All that and more. Well, thank you, Lloyd. And I want to just go back to Donna for one more moment. And again, say thank you so much, Donna. It's always such a pleasure to hear your music. And again, people can go to donnadelory.com. She's got her Ma song right there at the very top. And of course, get her new album, Gone Beyond. And thank you, Donna, for being with us and
Thank you.
playing from your
I'll
heart
see you.
in the beautiful ways you do.
Scott, you're gonna be there next month?
I'll
That's
be
so
there.
great.
So we finally get to meet in person.
We get to
Big
have a
hug
big
coming.
hug.
It's coming. It's coming.
Big bear hug. Yay.
Looking forward to it. Thank you, Donna, so much.
Thank you.
So we are blessed that Anna has offered to do a prayer. And I think certainly most of us are, I'm imagining, devastated by what happened a couple of days ago. And Anna has offered for us to come together. And one of the things that's beautiful about the awakening world is that we do talk about the hard things going on in our planet. And we come together in community. And so, Anna, thank you so much for that offer. And I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, thanks, Scott. Yeah, one of the things that happened for me recently, and I was reading in the chat, people were requesting some prayer tonight for the children in Texas and their families who were killed. And for the people in Buffalo, and I'm gonna expand that. Because really, for me, the last few days have been really sad and pretty heartbroken over all of this. And I remind myself, and I remind all of us, that this underbelly of hatred has been alive on our planet for a very long time, and it comes out now and then. For some people, it comes out quite a lot. We had a horrific reminder of that this week. And I want to include everyone in the prayer. So I'm going to do a short prayer that, and then I also want to, as part of my prayer, read a short poem that goes with it. So if everyone would just take a breath, or 2 or 5, and if you would like, close your eyes and feel your heart. Let's feel our hearts together, because the heart is where we are at home. And for me, I even like to put my hands on my heart and press a little bit to remember this is where I live, right here. This is me. So with this breath and with these hearts, and with our one heart, we pray, Holy One, to the one who gives us life. We are here. Hineni, here we are. We arrive with our hearts broken open in pain and sadness. And we sit with it and we breathe with it and we are together. We send love and blessings and care and deep hugs of humanity to all those who are suffering right now in Texas, in Buffalo, in all the places, so many places where gun violence, where hatred, where way too many guns have gone off and killed our loved ones, killed our family. This is our family we're talking about here. And so in family, we include not only the victims, but we include those who in their crazy, revengeful moments think that they must kill. We take a breath for them as well, because we are all family, and we cannot forget this. So let's breathe together and feel this deep, deep rupture of our normalcy. And say, okay, we're willing, we're open, we're going to be honest about this, and we're going to sit here and call forth blessings with everything we've got, with our breath, with the life that is given to us now. So this poem is for you. It's called Champion of Gentleness. And it is my amen to that prayer. Champion of gentleness. I want to be a champion of gentleness, even though she needs no champion. She is herself the strongest of us all. Just the same, I stretch my heart in these days of war and offer this simple balm of soft strength. The love of a mother for her children, care of the earth by men who till her soil, and the innocence of children playing together in freedom. Gentle and good are we all deep down. Let's apply gentleness today, a golden salve to heal our wounds and lift our hearts unto a new day of peace. Amen. And so it is.
Thank you so much, Anna. Thank you.
You know, my partner said something really profound about this whole thing. He said, I don't have language for this, what's happening right now. And I realized I don't either. I don't have language. It goes beyond what I even know how to describe. So that prayer and that poem is a small inkling of what we are feeling together. And thank you for allowing the space for us to be together in prayer.
Thank you. You know, if anybody is feeling particularly moved to get support from Anna, she does beautiful work. Everything from addiction recovery to forgiveness sessions. And so you can learn more about her from her website. It's also her name, and I'll spell it. It's Anna, A-N-A, Holub, Holub, Anna, HOLUB.com. And you can reach out to her. You can learn more about what she does. I'm curious, tell us a little bit about what psychedelic integration means. What is that work?
Well, I've been working with forgiveness and addiction recovery, and also working myself with some plant medicines for quite a long time, mostly solo, because I'm a mystic and I love to explore. And I also know that some of these plants and psychedelics are immensely healing when used with respect in the right way. And so when the psychedelic renaissance became more and more available to everyone, I started to help people make sense out of their journeys and help them to heal. So I do the preparation and I do the integration. The integration is all about after a psychedelic experience. Sometimes they're quite difficult. Sometimes something happened during the experience that you just don't know how to quite wrap your head around. Sometimes our whole experience of who we are shifts a lot. And it's really good to have somebody to talk to who doesn't think you're crazy, who is okay with whatever wild thing you want to say, and can bring it into what is this that your spirit wants to know, and what is it that you want to relax and expand. It's your Relaxpansion. Using these medicines, they are not magic. They help us, but we do need to do the inner work ourselves, and we're here to help each other do that.
I'm so grateful for both you and Norma. I'm going to bring Norma on too. And of course, bring on Lloyd as we're kind of wrapping up. And Donna is still with us. Well, so here are our four beautiful guests from tonight's show. And thank you, each of you, for your giving us a little homeopathic dose of your music, of your medicine, of your wisdom tonight. And Lloyd, you definitely know how to pick them. So thank you so much. And I want to just remind everybody that tomorrow night we continue. And we've got a really beautiful, we're going to have a number of musical artists joining us tomorrow night. Remember Jamishka, who you saw, those of you who were on the show last week. Jamishka's coming back because they're going to be at Relaxpansion. Pollyanna Bush, who's a dear friend, is going to be playing music for us tomorrow night. And we're also going to hear from Josh Jaffe, who's going to play a couple of songs, Max Ribner, a couple of songs. And then Lloyd, a couple of your friends, Katrina Parsons, Meredith Heller, and Michael Allen are going to be with us tomorrow. Anything you want to say about your guests that are coming?
Oh, it's a thrill. Michael Allen has been my best friend for so many years, and he's going to give a talk about I am loving presence. And what might that mean? And Meredith Heller once took the class that Deborah and I teach, Calling in the One. And she read this poem one time, and now she has 3 incredible poetry books. So she's going to lead a poetry dive, which is equally exciting to me. And Pollyanna, well, she's just a force. And she leads the best song circle that I've ever been in. I was religiously there every single month for years. And Katrina is an ace assistant who has my back and inspires me. And she'll be my shadow, not my shadow work, but my shadow at the festival that helps both of us to reflect and be more present. So, and Zarina from Olax, who's now known as Snow Raven, there's no being like her anywhere. So it's just, for me to see this, it's thrilling. It leaves me without words. I know everyone's going to come and have the experience of your life and are one instruction to everyone at the welcome desk, at the ticket table, is that everyone is thanked and feels welcome. And that nothing stands in the way of that. There are no issues. There are no troublemakers. Everyone is in the same place in this collective life of receiving and listening.
I want to read a couple thoughts, and then we have a final question for each of you to answer, and then we'll conclude with music with Omashar. Colleen from Unify says, thank you, Anna. She's going to reach out to you for some support. Reading just some of the comments coming in, I'm so blessed to be moving into this community. Thank you, everyone, for this beautiful prayer. On Unify, so appreciating the music from Donna. And then the question is from Dorina, who is coming to us from Ecuador. And she wants to know, will there be any virtual offerings for those such as Dorina, who's in Ecuador, to be able to watch? Is there going to be any kind of a recording, an opportunity for people who can't show up locally to participate in Relaxpansion?
That's beyond our capability at this point. I know it can be done, but it's not going to be done this time. But we will be much more diligent in taking video shots, not just of the music, just traveling around and posting those. And the Relaxpansion site will be very alive after the festival.
Okay, great.
That's the best I can do on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why we do this, so people can get a little bit of a taste of these things who can't make it in person.
Yes.
So a question for Norma and Anna. One example from your life of what Relaxpansion really has been for you. What's an example in your life? Anna, maybe you could go first.
Sure. Well, as I relax more, I expand more. And then what happens is I get more creative, and that really exciting to me. And so for me personally, the way in which creativity comes through is, there are many ways, but two of them are poems and songs. So when I do Relaxpansion, then my tube of light is open more and more, and then I can have some songs and some poems come through.
Beautiful response. Thank you, Anna.
Yeah.
And then Norma, what does Relaxpansion mean to you?
I'm trying to relax into an answer to that.
Fair enough.
Well, let's see. If you're feeling tired sometime or feeling confused and your thinking is getting a little foggy, that's usually a call from your dream time to relax into your deeper self. And so I often tell people to do a journey, to relax into a really deep place where you can go into your deep unconscious, maybe with drumming, which you can do on Spotify now, but go into that deeply relaxed place where I like to connect with my spirit animal guide. And it's amazing how the answers always come when you go into that deep place. The answers to specific questions, or to just the need to connect with yourself more deeply. And then coming out of that, I always feel refreshed, like a renewed energy to approach my situation or my decision with more clarity, and therefore expanded perspective, right? So I guess that's what I would say, that deep going within so that you can become more whole.
Beautiful. And then finally, to our maestro, Lloyd, what do you want to share about
Yeah. Well, I'm going to share with you, and invite you to just slip into what the three principles of Relaxpansion are. I didn't anticipate this, but hey, I just received. So the first principle is relaxation is the key for everything. And it's never more than one breath away, maybe two, if things are super intense. So that's the first one. You just start there. The rest will occur. The second one is curiosity is the cure. That means you live your life from, I wonder what's going to happen. And you say quietly, show me. And when you are shown, then you're able to go, well, I'm going to be present to the unfolding of my life so that I don't miss it. Because I imagine it's going to be pretty outrageous given what I've seen so far. The third one, everything is a reason to open your heart. Therefore, nothing is a reason to close it. That's relaxpansion without any
Beautiful.
shells.
Beautiful, beautiful, Lloyd. Eleanor, one of our regulars, writes, "These are brilliant." And yes, I would agree. They are, Eleanor. Beautiful. Well, thank you, Lloyd. I'm looking forward to tomorrow night with you
Oh,
and
I can
Saturday
hardly
morning
wait.
with you. And we're going to have some amazing music. Tomorrow night's going to be one of our most musical evenings ever because we have, I think, 4 different musical artists. So definitely join us. And a reminder for anybody who hasn't already registered, just go to globalpeacetribe.com and register. You'll get all the links. And we are going to conclude the way that we usually do now. We're going to go to Omoshar, who's our house musician, for a little closing song. What you got for us tonight, Omoshar?
Well, thank you so much, Lloyd and everybody. Tonight has been so poignant. I feel so touched and softened, and I never know if I'm going to play or not, but I'm always ready. And this song came to my head, and it's called Trust to Love. And it's kind of about the journey that we're on, and it's from my Shine On album. That's my self-advertising right there. So if we want to take a few deep breaths and just settle into this conclusion of this show today, and I'm feeling really pulled to Relaxpansion. I'm in Colorado at the moment, but I need a long break in some salty springs, or not salty springs. So anyway, let's get on with this song called Trust to Love, and thank you so much. Nothing in my life's the same. It seems my world is falling into the dust that gave it birth. Empty feelings find me deep in contemplation, waiting for the rise of Mother Earth. And we all know what we've come here for, and we all feel that our hearts are true, and together we will make it home, and we'll trust to fields of fear that bid for my attention. I don't live here anymore. I surrender to the flow that gives me new direction. All there is to do is trust and fly. And we all know what we've come here for. And we all feel that our hearts are true. And together we will make it home. And we'll trust to love once more. Recebemos a lo que vinimos, es sincero nuestro corazón. Lograremos ir a casa juntos, confiando otra vez en el amor.
Omar Star, your music is always so wonderful. People love you. They just love
Thank
you
you.
so much.
It's always a funny one. I want to play a rocking song at the end, but I just felt pulled into poignancy, so thank you for that.
Your choices are always perfect. And remember, everybody, you can always get more Omar Shar by going to omarshar.com. It's his name, everybody's name today. It was very easy. So thank you, Omar Shar. And again, thank you, Lloyd, Norma. I'm going to bring everybody on. Lloyd's seat is empty, but bring everybody back. I'll just go to gallery view. That's what I'll do. So turn on your cameras, everybody. This is the conclusion. We look forward to seeing all of you tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And a great show, great start to the weekend. Thank you, everybody. And if you enjoy our show, please share it out with everybody else. And we'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow night. Take care, everybody. God's blessings, and have a beautiful evening. And we'll see you tomorrow.